Welcome back everyone. Hi, if you're new, I'm Tori, and today we're going to chat about some of my most anticipated releases for the second half of 2024. So originally I thought I was only going to have like 5-6 books to share with you guys, but when I sat down and officially started making the list and checking on sequels that I was really excited about, turns out I have like 10 or 11 that I want to go through. So we have a lot to chat about. There are some really exciting releases still on the horizon. Let me know what you guys are most excited for, and if you do end up putting any of these books on your radar, definitely follow the release date for yourself. Don't just go by this video because, you know, anything could change. They could get pushed into 2025. Who knows? Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get into it. June 25th, we have The Bound Worlds coming out, and this is the third and final book in the Devoured Worlds trilogy by Megan E. O'Keefe. The first book, The Blighted Stars, came out in May of last year, and then the second book came out at the end of last year. So all of this wraps up in just a couple of weeks here. So far, I've only read The Blighted Stars, but I do have the second book, The Fractured Dark, on my TBR for later this month. And if you guys are unfamiliar with this trilogy, this is Megan E. O'Keefe's latest sci-fi series. She's the author of the Protectorate series as well. And in this trilogy, we have our two main characters, Tarquin and Nyra. And Tarquin's family is one of a few different powerful families that just control, you know, different political aspects around the galaxy. So Tarquin, he's sent on this mission by his father, crash lands on the planet, and he's stranded there with a few other people in his company, but also his bodyguard. And the two of them grow a lot closer in that time, but also the two of them begin uncovering secrets on the planet. So I enjoyed book one. I thought it was really exciting, and I am going to be getting into the Fractured Dark pretty soon here. But yeah, The Bound Worlds is going to wrap everything up very shortly here, so definitely this is on my radar. And then moving into July, we have a couple of books that I have arcs for already. On July 2nd, we have The Failures coming out by Benjamin Lyer. Thank you again to Daw for a physical copy of this book. This is definitely priority for the remainder of June, so I can get my final thoughts out to you guys before this releases. But this is the start to a brand new series called The Wanderlands. It's post-apocalyptic sci-fi, and it sounds like we have this really gritty world and these unlikely heroes scattered around the world and having to come together to stave off this evil darkness. Sounds really intriguing. Definitely cannot wait to crack this open finally, and really excited for it. So this comes out very early July. And then on July 23rd, we have something really interesting coming out that I'm excited for, but also a little bit skeptical about, and that is The Book of Elsewhere by Keanu Reeves and China Mieville. And I remember when this book was first announced, those were just two names that I never thought I would see next to each other in any capacity. We're going to be quickly approaching the release for this, and it just sounds weird. I love Keanu Reeves, and I'm also a big fan of China Mieville. I've only read one of his works, which was The City in the City, and that was excellent. So I definitely have more of Mieville on my TBR, like Embassy Town and Perdido Street Station, that I want to get to eventually. So it will be really interesting to see what the two of them do together. And I do already have an early e-copy of this one, so thank you so much to NetGalley for this. And I do plan to get to this one sometime in July, but it's definitely going to be a weird one. The official description of this just says it's a genre-bending epic of ancient powers, modern war, and an outcast who cannot die. And then moving into August, there's a lot here that I'm really excited for. Starting on August 6th, we have two big releases coming out. The first one is none other than The Mercy of Gods by James S.A. Corey, and this is their first, you know, big work outside of the Expanse series. And it's funny, even though this is outside of the Expanse, the cover looks like you would find it in the Expanse series. I have the official description here. It just says, how humanity came to the planet called Anjin is lost in the fog of history, but that history is about to end. And from there, it just gets really detailed. We've got empire here. We've got academic intrigue as well at the heart of the story, it sounds like. So there sounds like there's going to be a lot to love here. And you guys know I'm a big fan of the Expanse series. Still making my way through it, but I still love those books so much. So I'm excited to see what this author duo has in store for The Mercy of Gods. Definitely going to be a day one purchase for me. And then also on August 6th, this is one that was actually supposed to come out in the first half of the year, but it got delayed to August, and that is The Dead Cattell Assassins by none other than P. Djèlí Clark, one of my favorite authors of all time. This is his upcoming novella, and I am just so excited for this one. P. Djèlí Clark, I think, is just incredible at world building and characters and dialogue, and I think he is so great at just crafting an incredible story in such a short space. I love his short work like Ring Shout, the novellas that are set in the Dejin universe. So much to love with P. Djèlí Clark's work, and this is another one that I think I'm really gonna fall in love with. Our main character is Aveen, and she's this highly skilled assassin, and it says here that her newest mission brings her face to face with a past she isn't supposed to remember and a vow she can't forget. So that just sounds like it's gonna be a good time to me. Cannot wait to get my hands on this book. I'm really excited. And then moving to August 27th, we have Breath of Oblivion by Maurice Broaddus. And this is book 2 in the Astra Black series. I actually have book 1, Sweep of Stars, on my shelf already and started reading it not too long ago. So far, I've really been enjoying this book. I love the tone of it. It has the kind of style and tone where I think if you are a fan of N.K. Jemisin's work, you would really appreciate this. I wasn't that far into the book around the time that I put it down, but already I could tell that this was about to become a really large scale story. We have this empire that broke away from the traditions and ideals of old Earth and have created this vast empire for themselves. But unfortunately, the peace that this empire has built for themselves soon becomes threatened, and that's where the story really gets into motion. So eventually I am going to be going back to Sweep of Stars and wrapping that up, but I was really excited to see that the second book in this series is on the horizon and coming up very quickly. And then on August 29th, we have The Company of the Wolf coming out by David Wragg, and this is book 2 in the Tales of the Plain series. A few months ago, I think this was like back in January even, I read the first book, The Hunters, and I had a good time with it. Didn't love it, didn't dislike it. I just thought it was good. I did have some issues with just the way dialogue flowed in some situations and how quickly, you know, scenes went by, but overall it was a fun time and just had like a Western fantasy feel to it. But I did find the characters endearing enough, even though I wasn't always the biggest fan of their dialogue, did find them endearing enough to the point where I wanted to see where their story was going to go next. There's still a lot of unanswered questions that we came out of book 1 with. Our main character in the book is this woman named Reeves, and she had, well, now I remember what my issue with the book was. She has this really interesting dark past, and over the course of the book I feel like we weren't really seeing her, and it's like seeing that she really had a dark past. Now I remember that she was a really skilled fighter, but we would never like really see her in action and see her doing all these like kind of dark and dangerous things that she had, you know, she built her reputation for, because it kept switching POVs, and sometimes we would be with her niece and her niece would be like focused on other situations, and then Ree would be in the background fighting, and then by the time we turn around, the bad guys are all dead, and you're like, oh, but I really wanted to see that happen. So now it came back to me. That was an issue that I had. So I do just want to know a little bit more about Ree, and again, I did enjoy these characters and their dynamic, so I am excited to see how that continues to grow and change over the course of the sequel. And then moving into September, this is also going to be a really exciting month. On September 5th, we have Andrea Stewart's new book coming out, The Gods Below, and I'm really excited for this one. I read The Bone Shard Daughter. I thought it was fine, didn't hate it, didn't love it, and even though I did have some curiosities about, you know, how the first book ended and the reveals that happened at the end of the first book, they weren't strong enough to the point where I felt like I wanted to go into the second book. I did really enjoy the world building in Bone Shard Daughter, and I was always really curious to see what Andrea Stewart was going to do next after she wrapped up the Drowning Empire trilogy, and now Gods Below is next, and this sounds really good. I'm going to read you all the official description for this book and tell me you're not going to immediately add this to your TBR. It says that this is set in a world ravaged by ancient magic, where precious gemstones bestow magical abilities on the few individuals able to harness their power. It's full of clandestine power struggles and the battles between gods. The story follows Hakara, a young woman searching for her missing sister, who will do anything to find her, even lead a rebellion against the gods themselves. The description for this already sounded good, and then the added sibling dynamic to this just got me. I'm a sucker for that. So I just can't wait to see what Andrea Stewart is going to do in this first book in her brand new trilogy. I'm very excited for this release. This is definitely going to be coming up for me on the priority reads very, very soon. And then on September 10th, we have another one to be really excited about, and that is This World Is Not Yours by Kemi Ashing-Giwa. I am kind of bummed that I missed this author's debut when it came out, which was The Splinter in the Sky. I do still have it on the TBR, but because I didn't get to it as early as I would have liked when it came out, now it just unfortunately has gotten pushed down the TBR, but I'm still going to get to it eventually. But yeah, this is her second novel coming out soon. Sci-fi horror novella. It sounds incredible. It says it's perfect for fans of S.A. Barnes. I just can't wait to get my hands on this one. And you guys know I was also a really big fan of The Scourge Between Stars, another sci-fi horror novella. So I'm just really excited to see what this author does in sci-fi horror. Again, I will definitely be reading this around the time that it comes out. Just cannot wait. The brief description for This World Is Not Yours just says, after fleeing her controlling and murderous family with her fiance, Amara embarks on a colonized project, New Belliform, along with her childhood friend. The planet is beautiful and lethal and produces a gray self-cleaning mechanism that New Belliform's scientists are certain only attacks invasive organisms consuming them. Humans have been careful to do nothing to call attention to themselves until a rival colony wakes the gray. Just put it on your list. And then let's get into October, you guys. This is what I've been waiting my whole life for. On Vicious Worlds comes out October 15th. This is the second book in the Kingdom trilogy. Book 1 was These Burning Stars. These Burning Stars was so incredible. One of my favorite books of 2023. I remember finishing These Burning Stars and just being absolutely devastated that I would have to wait until 2024 for the second book to come out. And now here we are in 2024, just a few months away from the release. Time just goes by so fast. So I can't believe it. I just have really high expectations for the sequel because book 1 was just book 1 was spectacular, just truly in every way. I loved the world, the characters, the way it was written, the structure of that world I thought was so fascinating, just the political structure of the world. It is so good. If you guys still have not read These Burning Stars, cannot recommend it enough. That was Bethany Jacobs' debut sci-fi novel. It was just incredible. It's described as this sci-fi cat and mouse game around the galaxy, and that is quite literally what it is, but it is also so much more than that. The main character, Asek, is probably one of the most memorable characters I've read in a really long time, and she has this obsession with another character, Six, and their dynamic and just the way Asek's obsession with Six drives so much of the narrative. Some parts will quite literally have you holding your breath, have you on the edge of your seat. As we started to get closer to the ending and like things started coming out and coming together, my jaw was on the floor. Ugh. Just give me the sequel. I say that kindly. Please give me the sequel. And then for November, I don't have anything in this month yet that has really catching my eye, but if you have any, definitely drop your anticipated releases for November in the comments. And yeah, hopefully you can put some new ones on my radar, but so far nothing has quite grabbed my attention yet for this month, but something I'm sure will come up in the next couple of months. And then finally on December 6th, we have the biggest release of 2024, and that of course is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive. Have I started Stormlight Archive? No. Will I be at least caught up to the series before Wind and Truth comes out? Probably also no, but I can say that by the time we get to Wind and Truth in December, I'll be somewhere in my Stormlight Archive journey, whether that's, you know, just finishing the first book, reading Rhythm of War, who knows, but I do plan to at least be somewhere in the journey by the time the book comes out. I do love Brandon Sanderson, and because this release is so massive, you just feel the excitement from everyone else in the community, and it makes you excited. So yeah, this is definitely going to be the big deal for the end of the year. I am really excited for people who are caught up with Stormlight Archive and, you know, really anticipating this book. So hopefully I can join in on that level of excitement very soon, but nonetheless, I am very excited to finally get into the Way of Kings and experience this Stormlight journey with all of you. So that is it for me, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Again, let me know down in the comments what you're anticipating for the second half of 2024. Thank you guys again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.